Thought we'd do an update on the fruit. It's early morning, the sun's not out yet. I thought we'd get started. This is the grapevine, the scuppernong vine. No fruit on it, of course, but there's a lot of new growth on it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not, but there's a lot of new growth on it. I don't expect anything out of it this year, but that's not its fault, it's mine. Same situation with the Concord grape. A lot of new growth. We'll see what happens. This is our young fig tree at the end of the garden. And it's got some baby figs on it. This will be its first year having figs. Did I mention we love figs? And looky at my thornless blackberries. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy for being so excited about blackberries. They grow wild everywhere. That's true. But these are kind of my babies. And considering that they have survived a very large oak tree falling on them during Hurricane Michael, I think we're doing pretty good. Won't be long before we can have a taste test. Ooh, looky there. Just noticed that one. It really won't be long. This is the little fig tree that had all of the big trees that fell all around it, and none of them touched it. It's been in the ground not as long as the other young one, so it doesn't have any figs on it yet, but it's looking really good. I'm pleased with the way it looks. I'm more pleased with the miracle that it survived after having oak trees all around it, like in a circle all around it. This is our oldest fig tree, the one that sits in front of the big pears. It's going to have the most figs on it this year than it's had since it's been here. And that's a good thing. They're looking really good. Don't want to make you dizzy going all around it. But it's looking really good. A lot of figs. The pears are growing. That's one of the other pear trees. This is the biggest one. Even though there won't be as many pears on here this year as there was last year, the pears that are on here will get bigger. So that'll be a good thing. Even though we'll have less numbers, the pears that are here will get bigger. Little baby persimmons on the persimmon tree that we're not sure what kind it'll turn out to be. It's supposed to be the big apple-shaped ones. But if you'll remember, the horses and goats got a hold of it and ate it almost completely back a couple of years ago. This is the first time it's had any fruit on it. So we'll see what comes out of it. The plums are starting to get ripe, which is a good thing for us, but it's also a good thing for the squirrels. I see that a lot of them that were here are now gone. So that means the squirrels have been hard at work eating my plums. Another pear tree. It's going to have a few. It's not a very big tree. I want to tell you a story about this tree. The pear tree is the one kind of leaning to the left there, and the plum tree is the one on the left. But the pear tree, this pear tree, is 4 years older than those two giants over there. Isn't that amazing? Those two pear trees that have done wonderfully and are beautiful trees came from our local nursery. I've told you about him before. Bill Maphis at Maphis Nursery in Chipley. And I got these from him. Now you see they're not that far apart as far as how they're planted. This one I got 4 years before at Walmart. Something wrong with this picture. This tree should be 30 feet tall. Now, they're not, like I say, they've been treated the same, they've been fertilized the same, everything's been the same about these trees. It's just where they came from, so it has to make you wonder about the stock. Makes you wonder a lot of things because they've been treated the same. That's why I say go to reputable nurseries, because even if they cost a little bit more, look at the difference. It's amazing. This is one of our little baby blueberry bushes that we pulled out from the jungle a year or so ago and planted out away from it. And so it was a real small little baby then. And it's growing and it's got berries on it. Some of the blueberries on the big bushes. Again, my blueberries are a jungle. This fall into winter, we will start digging up a bunch of them and transplanting them. We just couldn't get it done this spring, so probably better to do it this fall. And this is our persimmon tree in the middle of the garden. This is the one that is not astringent. So you could eat it a little bit, not, where it's not completely ripe, and you wouldn't run for the sink to wash your mouth out. It's loaded. A little added bonus, just some of the daylilies we've got growing in the garden. All colors. This bed is fairly new, so the plants aren't real big yet. I'm sure you know if you grow daylilies that they multiply and you divide the roots. This one's not completely open yet. And also, if you don't grow daylilies, they're called daylilies because these pretty blooms only last one day. I love all the pretty colors, but this daylily is probably my favorite because my grandmother grew so many of these. This is a J.M. Russell, and she really loved these daylilies, and she always had a lot of them. As a matter of fact, all these daylilies were dug up from her house after she died, and we brought them here. And they've multiplied over the years, and so we've created new beds. So anyway, and she has, or had, well, we have it now, a McCoy vase, a real tall McCoy vase that has these colors there. It's this color. And when she passed away, we did a huge arrangement of these daylilies in that vase on the day of her funeral. That's not being too melancholy. It's just, we just love some of this stuff because it has history to it, not just because they're pretty flowers. More pretty flowers. And a nosy dog. Thought I'd give a wide shot of one of the beds. This whole front row are the J.M. Russells that I showed you close up. Stuff doesn't grow here where we live now as good as it did where we lived before we moved up here. But the beds are finally getting in better shape. The soil is not as good. That's the problem. But it is what it is, and so we deal with it. But in addition to loving to grow fruits and vegetables and meat for our families, we also love the beauty of these plants and the sentimental value that these plants have for all of us. Even the azaleas and the spireas and the Susquehanna camellias and the big purple dawns and all the others have special meaning to all of us because they came from my grandmother's home place. So, I don't want to end on a sad note, and that's not sad. We get joy from this every single day. It's a good thing to remember because we love her and we miss her, and this is a great reminder of who she was and what she loved. So, Thank you for joining us for the fruit edition 2 and for a little extra with all of our pretty daylilies and a little bit of thinking back. Hope you enjoyed our video. Please like and subscribe and share. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Have a very blessed day. Thank you from Pemberley Farm.